why not attempt to eliminate a bit of the back, tongue, and throat burn by chilling it? Case in point, you enjoyed it and potentially opened your mind.
If I put it in the freezer before, it will help take some of the burn out of the throat.
Listen here, brother. Next Sunday night, if you don't like and subscribe that new podcast, I'm coming for you.
Spit on it.
What?
Instinctively, you almost just got your ass slapped.
What?
Is that not how it goes? No.
You guys are gonna get canceled real fast. Do not say that.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Welcome to that GD podcast. I'm Jay Ray. I'm joined by my friends Andy and Kyle.
Hey.
Bringing another interesting episode to you. Hopefully, I don't know, maybe. We've got just chucking ice balls everywhere, playing with our balls. That's what we like to do. Today we have Reserve Rye. This is from Red Fork Distillery here, proudly crafted in Oklahoma. I have no idea. Is your hands cold?
You know, it's not warm.
It's not warm?
It's dripping on me. I'm pretty sure he had this in his hands for a minute too.
Okay, cool.
That's fine.
You need your glass.
Yes. Yeah.
Got you, buddy. All right. 1, 2, 3. I jumped the gun. That's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Someone
You
was
released
fast.
on 2, man, and you
I
were
released
doing
on
the count.
3. I released on 3.
Sometimes we release early.
You know.
Earlier than expected. Maybe it's been a while since we've released an Ice Cube.
So I'm sure that all of our listeners are going to notice we've got a little bit different of a setup tonight. What camera am I looking at? Am I looking right ahead?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to focus on looking into the camera tonight.
Kyle being weird. How much did you want?
Yeah, you just do a little bit more.
A little bit
Just a
more.
little bit more. You got to take use of that first big Ice Cube.
There you go.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
I thought you were going to pour mine.
No,
You poured
no.
Kyle's.
I was trying to pour Kyle's, and he was just
I was looking in the camera. I'm getting it right.
staring at the camera.
I'm getting it right. That's what you're supposed
That's
to
the
do.
one.
And yeah, that's what you're supposed to do in showbiz.
This is not
Stare,
showbiz.
stare awkwardly at the camera.
Yeah,
While-
it's not showbiz.
No.
So I literally have 0 topics today.
Feels like
But
it.
you should feel this cork.
It's a weighty cork right there. It's value. Way better than the screwball cork.
We need to get one of the drug scales.
Just to, they call those a food. If you're a drug person and you go to buy one on Amazon, you search for a food scale. So
I wonder if I typed in drug scale, would it pull the exact same
I
thing?
don't know. Like I said,
Doing it.
don't ask how I know, but if
Doing
you're selling drugs, you buy a food scale, a digital food
research.
scale.
I feel like they're just going to be honest with themselves.
Yeah.
I remembered what the topic was going to be, and I left the book at home.
You were gonna bring a book,
Yeah.
like we're gonna do a book report.
It was going to be it's a handcrafted book by my 4-year-old,
Yep.
Okay.
and I wanted you to read it.
Oh shit! You left that at home?
I left it at home.
Man, that was
I have
that
it
was
like
gold.
sitting by where I have to leave, and I just walk right on past it. It's even bright yellow. So
Yeah, that was gold. That was cool. We have a whole 20 minutes on our podcast.
I'm fairly certain we would have a whole 20 minutes.
That's the other form of pulling a Drew. It's just flat out forgetting stuff like that.
okay.
That's my other and I think we're all coming very close to that. Is like I remember my dad, my stepdad. You'd see him walk into a room and then stop and look confused and then be like, "Why did I just walk in here?" And there was a time when I thought that was hysterical, and I was like, "God, all the guys losing it," and I'm getting real close to that. Like I've walked into rooms and had to stop, and normally it'll come to me pretty quick, but then I'll realize and what you did, setting it down right beside your keys and then just leaving it, like we're getting to that age where we're going to start doing that a lot.
The bad thing is I have my keys in my pocket.
Damn it. Okay, well.
Can confirm drug scales will buy you drug scales off of Amazon.
Okay.
It's probably meaning like pharmaceutical drug.
Didn't specify.
You're probably on a list now.
That's fine. Thank you.
You'll be okay.
You can go to any corner in the city we live in and buy marijuana. What do you want to do with it? Weigh it, smoke it, fine. But any one of us could do it within a day.
I mean, medicinal is legal here.
Right. Then there's stores just everywhere. You got your mattress stores, you got your weed stores, you got your churches.
They all go the same strip mall.
Then we're getting to car washes pretty quick.
We are.
There was a corner in Muskogee that on the 4 sides of the corner, there was a weed store diagonal from each other
Yep.
on 2 corners and churches on the other 2 corners. And I stopped at this 4-way stop and just looked, and it was amazing. It was like, this is Oklahoma, modern day Oklahoma. 2 churches, 2 weed stores. No need for anything else.
That's it.
And you pass the weed store, you find yourself a mattress firm.
Yep.
What they're doing there, I don't know.
We don't have Denver mattresses here, do we?
No.
I feel like everywhere has the mattress firm, but am I wrong on that? Is that not nationwide?
No, it's nationwide, and they are
Okay.
their footprint is wild. Thousands of stores.
Did either of you guys see SNL last weekend with Nate Bargatze?
No, no, I didn't.
So they redid the skit. They had previously done a skit where he's General George Washington.
Oh, that's why it's popping up, because that is my favorite. The
So-
original is my favorite skit on SNL of all time.
So they did like a part 2 of that.
Yeah.
They're crossing the river. And at one point, he's like, and there shall be holidays such as, 4th of July, blah, 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 and President's Day. And they go, what will we do on President's Day, sir? And he goes, buy mattresses. it was so perfect.
No, that original skit was one
Yeah.
of my favorite things.
The second one was just as good, just so you know. Yeah,
I know. It's just hard to replace the original. Like,
Yeah.
we will measure things by feet. Like, okay, what's a foot? 12 inches. Great. And that will go into a yard. Oh, so 12 feet in a yard. Oh, if only it were that simple. That'd be great.
They managed to find like 5 or 6 things just to keep that line of thought
Yeah.
going that just worked perfectly.
Yeah,
So,
I saw the Jeff thing.
Yeah,
There's
Jeff,
2 ways to spell Jeff.
And we call animals one name when they're alive and a different name when they're dead. And a cow will be beef and a pig will be pork and a hamburger will be made of beef. It was pretty solid stuff.
Nice.
I'm not doing it justice, so I'm going to stop trying to retell it. But it was good stuff.
Well, it was with Nate Bargatze's dry delivery.
Yes,
Yeah, it's perfect for that.
The dry delivery is where it's at.
it is.
It is.
So
Indeed. So,
Abby got a red card this weekend.
what?
is a red card like thrown out of the game
Yep.
or okay?
Yeah.
Okay, I could not remember. With red card, they're out of that game. Are you all also down a player?
Yep.
So you were playing with 10.
We played with 10 for the last 10 minutes.
Okay.
Now, this is a interesting girl dad topic that won't last long, because I'm pretty sure there's like 8 girl dads out there that will understand this. So the whole thing is, she needed to show a little bit more self-control. Absolutely. The whole thing is incited by this small town club. The parents on the sideline are calling her a bitch.
Oh wow!
Get this fucker off the field. Like, they're going insane.
Was Abby playing a little? I mean, she plays within the rules, but she plays physical. Was she being physical? And
Oh, extremely.
Okay.
So the other team kind of started the physicality, and the ref said to our coaches, "Your girl's got to quit falling down. I'm not calling that stuff."
Gotcha.
And then Abby was like, "Oh, got it. Let me take that to the next level."
I see your 3 scoops.
And was just every challenge for a ball, someone was flying.
Yeah.
And it was just enough. And then the yellow came, and I mean, 30 seconds later, she got the red. That was the first time. I mean, it's a weird thing to have self-control and allow your daughter to fight their own battles, because there are grown women on the sideline calling my daughter a bitch and calling her every name under the sun, because she's bigger and stronger than their kids are.
Yeah.
And it's a weird form of self-control that I didn't know that I needed growing up, and didn't know that I needed until like 3 years ago.
Yeah. Well, my favorite thing about Abby is like when that's happening, she usually would just come up to the sideline to the parents and kind of just give them a little like,
Yeah.
This was a slightly different, because the other team was targeting her at that point. They were trying to take her out as well as her take them out. It just became chippy both ways. She drew 2 yellow cards on her as well.
yeah. Okay. So after they said toughen up, they started doling out yellows.
Yeah, it was getting out of control, but I'm like, you set the standard.
Yeah.
You set the standard. That reminds me of my favorite story of her. I think it was the first or second time she got called a bitch from a sideline. And I said, you know what? Don't talk to him. Don't say anything yet. And this is terrible parenting on my part, probably. I said, go score. And walk over to that mom. She's like, I know exactly who it is. Walk over to that mom and say, I'm that bitch.
Nice.
As a 10-year-old girl, she walked over to a mom on the sideline and said, I'm that bitch.
Nice.
And walked back after she scored a goal. And I was so proud.
So let me ask you, Abby's 12, 13-ish. Is this just starting to be a thing where the other fans, you see videos on YouTube and whatnot all the time of like fans getting into brawls after games, or just parents being ridiculous at little kids' games. And I've yet to see that yet, but my kid's 9. And I'm wondering, like, as we get into 10, 11, 12, like, is that going to start to be a thing I'm going to get to see, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
When you see some of those videos, you're like, who could possibly act like this? But I guarantee it probably happens more than I think it does.
Yeah, and it gets contentious way more than it gets like actual people in people's faces. You know,
Gotcha.
like just little chirps back and forth. But I've had enough practice now to understand that my daughter can fight her own battles. They can say what they need to. Now there is a line, and I've told Morgan that there is a line. I don't know what it is yet. I have no idea what it is. But you know, she's an athlete. She's going to deal with this for a long time.
We'll find that line.
When
we get there.
When it gets there, it'll probably be when Justin's there, and he'll be like, "That was it.
That's the line.
That was
The only anger I've ever felt so far has been like at the ref or maybe the opposing coach. There was a team that we played last year that was or maybe 2 years ago. It was just they were bigger and they were being physical, and our girls were just taking a beating. Like it was just straight knocking girls down left and right. And I started getting hot for the first time ever at one of my kids' games. Like I was being loud. I wasn't yelling at them, but I was being loud in their direction of the ref and the opposing coach because it was just getting ridiculous and nobody was doing anything about it. But that was the only time I could really think that I remember anything like that.
There was a time when we played Grove. I don't know, one of these. It may have been Porter.
Is that
Were they
the Amazon children?
Yes, the Amazon children. Where our girls were just like, we don't want to play anymore.
yeah."
That was when.
And you know, Abby's getting villainized from the sideline because she's going back.
Yeah.
She's going back for him, and
And
Yeah.
that's probably the best thing about her is like Abby is. She's got the size to be that person on the field, and then if she sees one of her teammates just dirty checked, she is like, "I got you."
yeah, that actually happened once. We were at a tournament in Edmond, and she has a teammate. Name starts with an F, and she's little. She's an insanely good soccer player.
Fantastic athlete.
Oh my gosh. And just effort's what makes her a great athlete. And well, she took an elbow to the back of the neck, and it was pretty evident it was on purpose. And she looked over at me. I gave her calm down. And she just dead-eyed goes,
I'm taking this bitch out.
30
basically.
seconds later, that I like to say that girl had some frequent flyer miles on Southwest because she went missing from the field.
Nice.
And it was like,
It's like Super Smash Brothers.
I was like, it was.
Like I'm excited to hit that age where like I think we're kind of at the age now with the younger daughters where like you can talk to them about an enforcer and how every team needs to have someone who's kind of looking out for the rest of the team. And I feel like up until now, maybe that would have been taboo to like, oh, we're teaching them to play the right way. The coach you don't have anymore, but we've all had, like he very much is not in favor of like playing dirty. Whereas I would more lean towards like, hey, get a shot in where you can. Like he's not all about that life. But I feel like we're getting closer to him being a little bit more lenient there. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, you have at a certain age and a certain competitive level, you have to have someone that can match it.
Yeah.
Whether it's starting it or finishing it up, you have to have someone who can match that level, who can get to that extreme. In fact, one of the coaches on your team recently said that to me.
Okay.
His name starts with an M.
Got it. Good guy.
He is a good guy. Yeah. Really, really, really appreciate him. But we were talking to him after a game, and he said, "Is Abby still really physical out there?" And I said, "You know the answer to that." And he said, "Every team needs one at this level. Every team has to have one, or you will lose games for no reason."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was talking to one of the other parents, and they've got the Stellar kid on the team.
Okay.
And it really surprised me with what he said. I've not had many conversations with him. Super nice dude, and like I guess he didn't give off the vibe of being a competitive person. So talking was like, that's really cool. You know, your daughter was passing to the other girls, letting them score after she already had her hat trick. And he looked me in the eyes. He's like, yeah, but we got to keep in mind that goal differential. Like it bothers me that she'll come over after the game and coach is like, hey, you need to start letting the other ones do it. And if you see an opening, you can.
He did the same thing to Abby.
That's the thing. She could score like 15 goals a game if we kept the pedal to the metal. There is something, I understand what he's saying, totally.
Yeah.
But I like where when we get up 9-0 and we shift our best two scorers to the back, because our best two scorers play great defense as well. And then we let some of the defenders and the midfielders get up there and get some action. So I do like that. But I also see the point of like pedal to the metal. Let's score as many goals as we can.
Welcome to Youth Sports Soccer Talk.
Yes.
Hey,
not gonna
that
do it
wasn't
yet.
really the
We'll wait till
anticipation,
later.
but I was like, I got to fill this with a subject.
Yeah.
Hey, red card, that happened this week. Yeah, the girl you were referencing is the best soccer player I've ever seen for a certain
Yeah.
age, and I've seen them all from Texas.
And-
I've seen them all from everywhere around, and she's the best soccer player I've seen for her age ever.
I think she's also just athletic and core. I have a feeling you could give her anything sport wise, and she would probably dominate it. She just seems coordinated.
Yeah, her knees don't work right.
Yeah, her knees are made out of rubber. So
Yeah. I've never seen cartoon legs just moving.
And the ball is stuck between her, like right,
Yeah.
right on her feet, and they're pointed outwards, and it doesn't.
It's like
make any
Velcro.
sense.
she would probably be great at disc golf.
Wish you brought the book. Skibbity.
You said skip that one?
No,
Nope.
skibbity.
No, I didn't. I actually just said a
Do you
slang
know what
word.
skibbity toilet? You know what skibbity toilet is?
Yeah.
What is skibbity?
Kyle, I'm asking you because I know skibbity is apparently one of those words like bad, where you know how bad can mean bad, but
Yeah.
bad can also mean cool.
Yeah, skibbity is
Or
an adjective.
Skibbity can mean everything depending on how you use it, but
Mm-hmm.
apparently skibbity toilet is a whole thing unto itself.
Yeah, Skibbity Ohio, Skibbity Toilet. Those are bad.
Yeah.
Why
Skibbity is an
Ohio?
adjective.
I mean, like
It's
Ohio
like-
sucks. But
Yeah, that's
Gotcha.
exactly
Okay.
it.
Well,
That's
Hold on,
exactly
let's
it.
call a timeout.
no,
real
no, no,
quick.
Ohio.
No,
sucks.
Ohio
Ohio
sucks.
is
Nope.
much better than Michigan. I'll say that. Go ahead.
What? Based on
Based on the war that Ohio won against Michigan in 1890, and then the majority of the football games since then.
What was this war
Just so
called?
you know, the Ohio State-Michigan rivalry started with an actual like shooting war in 1890, and like we're still not over that. So, yeah, this weekend is Texas OU, and I like to laugh at that petty little rivalry because it's nothing compared to this guy. It's nothing compared to the OU Michigan rivalry.
Word on
the
purpose.
Real, or Ohio State.
State.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Word on purpose. I figured it would come up
Yeah.
at some point.
Oh, is that this weekend?
Yeah.
Oh, you
week-
better smear them.
Yeah.
It's not,
hate
not
Texas.
gonna
So
happen.
Texas
Not
is
gonna happen.
gonna whoop some
Yeah.
asses. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just not Oklahoma's year, and Texas is playing really. With Texas is number one, I believe, right?
They're number one. Mm-hmm.
I mean, Texas is looking good. Now that being said, any given Sunday, but if you were putting money down, you'd be a fool to put it on OU right now. Is all I'm saying.
So you're saying I make big money if I put on.
Yeah, you know you gotta bet big to win big. So
That's true.
good luck with that. But yeah, and I don't even know, is Arch Manning still playing this weekend, or
No,
is
it's supposed,
Quinn
it's supposed to be yours again.
Ewers is back in? Doesn't matter. Yeah. That's why it's kind of. I'm going to jump back on the Texas bandwagon here because Ewers
Wow.
is leaving after this year.
How lame is it that you were
Oh,
like,
100%.
how about Ohio State this week? How about Texas next
You-
year?
This is a
No.
running joke with most of my friends.
I
Is I will
fucking
happily
hate that.
jump from bandwagon to bandwagon with no shame at all.
Now
Like,
I'm probably just as bad as you are
Mm-hmm.
because I was raised a USC fan. Diehard USC Trojans.
Why?
That's where my dad's from. And like my room when like 13 to the time they moved out of that house was painted a color called Trojan red. Don't. And then my friends all went to OU and I was going to the local community college. And so I'd go up there every other week and I'm like, hey, I kind of dig this vibe. So I am kind of a crossover OU/USC fan when my real allegiance is Arizona because that's where I went.
Yeah.
But when during football season, it doesn't matter that much normally.
I can't tell if this is a me getting older and not caring as much, or if I'm just starting to think about it differently. But like, especially with like NFL, like college, if you went to a college, I get how that's you have to be loyal to your school.
Yeah.
But certain, like with the NFL recently, like I grew up as a Cowboy fan. I hate the Cowboys now, but as a Cowboy fan, I hated the Redskins, and the thought of ever rooting for the Redskins seemed just impossible. There's no way. But I look at it today, and I'm like, that quarterback they got's amazing. I like their head coach. That's going to be a fun team to watch over the next couple of years. And I'm not going to go out and buy Redskin gear, but it's like, oh, I'm behind the Redskins right now. I hope they take off and I hope they're in a Super Bowl in a couple of years. Like that would be neat to see. But it's weird because I think back to me 10 years ago, and I would slap myself for saying that.
I get what you're saying. Especially in the college ranks, I don't really hate very much. I don't.
Texas.
They're kids. They're kids. However, I hate the Eagles. So
Okay,
I
yeah.
can't.
I can see it because like I hated Bama for a while, and it's just because Bama was like the Patriots or like the Yankees. Like if you're a team that becomes a dynasty and is awesome, I'm just gonna lean into hating you. That's kind of where I'm at. And
unless it's your team,
yeah, that's true.
that won't happen.
I've
That's
never
pretty
been
good.
lucky enough to have it be my team that's a dynasty. So the 90s, the 92, 93, and then 95 Cowboys, 3 Super Bowls out of 4 years. was the closest I ever got. And then it's been a 30-year drought since, 29-year drought since then.
It's our year, baby.
Yeah. You go get it, man. You guys barely beat the Steelers last week.
Dub's a dub.
And I fell asleep.
Did you?
Yeah,
I didn't even watch
It
it.
was a good ending, I'll say. Even though I didn't want them to win, it was a good ending.
I know. It was like mid third quarter. I passed out.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it.
It started an hour late. It went till like what 12:30 here.
Weather delay. That's right.
Yeah,
Hey,
there was rain delay.
How was that?
Yeah, damn it.
I heard, if you recall, Andy, last week you brought up the fact that we had wives at the draft, and then
I'm not.
you said you've got your wife this week to Kyle, and Kyle like made this gesture like, yes, I'm going to.
Oh, did you lose to your
destroy
0-4
this.
wife? Did he lose to his 0-4 wife?
He lost to his 0-4 wife.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. That was awfully nice of you, though, to like, keep harmony in the house.
over here? I'm not. I left.
Yeah, no, come on, buddy.
Close the window.
Yeah,
I wish I had looked at that. I was distraught because I lost that game badly, and
I lost badly too.
it was not fun. But I'm sorry. So we all three lost last week. Just one of us lost to our spouse, which is extra embarrassing.
By 20
Way to go, Morgan.
plus. Good job, Morgan.
Oh, cool.
Did you
what
have
are we
any-
talking about?
We're talking about how your wife beat you in fantasy football.
No, it's still windy.
Let me ask: Did she overperform or did you underperform or both?
She was the third high scorer of the
Third
week.
high score.
Okay.
So my streak continues. Okay, so 5 weeks in,
Okay.
everyone has set a personal best against me for all year.
Heck yeah! I can't wait to play you.
And
I
he's
did I
still
already
3-2.
play you? I know I played Justin. And
No.
we must be coming.
No,
up.
we haven't played yet.
Okay.
I have the 0-5 team this week.
Guaranteed to win. Good
Guaranteed loss.
Who's that?
Ladderback.
Ladderback's 0-5.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
think I
That's
beat him
CMC's
week one.
That's CMC spending.
Job. Okay. Yeah. Oh, fuck! I didn't even think about that. Yeah. They're one of the dads on our soccer team, John. His top 6 draft picks are all out right now, like on IR.
It's been a pretty tough year.
Yeah.
Now, there's not many season-ending things, but it seems like teams are way more willing to use that IR tag.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
he's-
they're going to be out 2 weeks. Let's just keep them up for.
when he told me he had 6 on IR, his top 6 picks, I was like, it can't be. And then he showed me, and I was like, oh wow, like just what luck that. Yeah.
What?
So is that Skibbity, Ohio then?
Man, I don't know what you call that. That's Satan interjecting himself into your fantasy.
It's not
football.
bussing.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not bussing.
It's not Sigma.
So my daughter will she'll use words like that back to the girl slang.
Yeah.
She'll use a word like the first one I remember her using up here was sus, and I was like, what the heck? And then she kind of explained it to me, and I got it. And she gets so mad. She'll teach me a word, but then if I use it back to her and I use it correctly, she's like, Dad, you can't say that. And it's like, why did you teach me this word if I can't use it? Like I'm trying to relate.
Let me tie everything together here.
Okay.
When she uses a word and overuses it, even if it's ironically, because most of the time I feel like every one of these words start ironically and then kind of accidentally get into your vocabulary. Like bruh, I started using that ironically, and now I'll just say it. And I'm like, no, don't do that.
No, you do.
Yeah, I know. It happens.
You can't stop.
It's in there. It's
stop, won't stop.
it's unironic now, and so start when you are cheering for them at soccer. Start using those words.
Okay. I can do that. I think we should like go back to our youth and like let's start all like talking like Snoop talk, like for shizzle and whatnot. Let's bring back our stuff just to embarrass them and confuse them.
I don't think a lot of our stuff has left our vocab.
Nah, so recently I told my daughter for shizzle, faux shizzle, and she was like, "What?" And I was like, "For real?" Like I thought Snoop was still very relevant, but apparently not with her.
He
He
said
is.
faux shizzle today.
Well,
us.
you got to think that where was the last time you saw Snoop like on TV?
All the time.
Olympics.
At the Olympics.
I'm pretty sure I've seen him since.
Who
he's,
watches
like,
the Olympics?
My kids.
No, okay, your kids might be. It was mainly our generation watching that. So I think there's a younger generation that wasn't tuning. And if they did watch the Olympics, they were like, "Who's this old black guy?" I think, which is sad because you got to think he was there with Martha Stewart.
Right,
They're like,
and then
what's
my-
up with this old
My
black guy?
kids 100% know who he is.
Okay, well, you did a good job of raising your kids. I apparently didn't. So.
Yeah, you suck.
Side note: George Clinton and the Parliament Funkadelic is coming to one of the casinos up here by us soon. I'm going to see that, but also Tom Segura, February 20th in Tulsa. Just throwing that out there.
That'd be fine.
That's a dude's night right there.
Yeah, that's a dude's night.
Dinner
Yeah.
and comedy again?
Dinner and comedy.
We can,
Yeah.
we can call that my birthday.
Yeah.
Okay, deal. February 20th. I'll text you guys the info, but I saw that the other day and I'm very pumped about that.
Good.
So
That's good.
yeah.
I try to use.
Riz.
Okay, I try to use the terms as terribly as possible. I want to 100% embarrass my child in front of all of her friends. Anybody important, my goal is be that embarrassing dad. We had this discussion about Riz
Riz.
2 days ago.
I don't know
Oh,
Riz.
I didn't know that's where you were going.
No, you brought it up, but I was told.
Oh, Riz is charisma, right?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
told that's what it was, and I was like, that stands for charisma. And they're like, no, it's not what it stands for, Dad.
It is.
And I was like, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
What does it stand for? And that was kind of like my sister-in-law. She's 18, 17, and she was saying slay, right?
Okay.
I was wearing something. She goes, slay. And I said, what does that mean? She said, it means slay. I said, you didn't say anything different. You said the same word, slay. Like, is it mean awesome? Like, I'll give you an example. When I was a kid, you slayed a dragon, so you killed the dragon. That means you were killing it. Is that what it means?
I think you're onto that though.
To which she said, slay.
Now,
That's
slay
not the
can be
worst
used-
definition I've heard, though. Like, you're killing it.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I thought. But I kept asking and asking and asking. And then she only came back with the word slay. So I dropped her off at work. And it was around Christmas time. And we went to Hobby Lobby because Oklahoma and they have all the Christmas ornaments in the world. And I'm walking down one of the aisles. And they had these little toothpicks with like gingerbread man and a snowman and like a candy cane on them for charcuterie boards or whatever you want to call them. Or as my wife calls them, charcuterie boards. Anyway, the brand of them was Sleigh Bells.
Okay.
Sleigh, S-L-E-I-G-H. So I immediately pulled my phone out, started recording, and I was like, Cadence, check out these different toothpicks. They're awesome. They have these little things on top of them. I said, they slay, and recorded the title. I was like, is this the sleigh you were talking about? Dad. Immediately got a no. You're embarrassing. Stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised it wasn't anything more than just no.
The thing that confuses me with slay is it can be used in two different ways where you can say your outfit is slay or you can say slay queen or you slay queen. So that shirt is slay. Like that doesn't make sense grammatically to me. Like I don't think that should be
I don't
allowed.
think that's how it's used.
I thought it was.
I've heard that-
I thought it was drips. For
Okay, that's another one though, but I've heard people say like, "Oh, that dress is slay," and that confuses the hell out of me. That's not how it's supposed to be used. But again, it's their word.
That dress is killing it. If you just
that
did
makes
if you
sense.
just did like a
a replacement.
yeah,
And dress is killing it.
I guess I don't know.
yeah.
Kids are getting. We already used all the good words. Like they're having to scramble for like finding a word of their own now. Like there's only so many words in the dictionary that you can try to make cool.
Have y'all heard of just the phrase type shit?
Type shit.
Yeah.
No.
Like if you see something happening or you're telling a story and you say type shit.
Okay. Not where I thought you were going. Like I thought if someone was being creepy or something, you might say that's some like pedo type shit.
No. Yeah. And so
That's
I think
what I
that's where
thought.
it derived from.
Okay.
But now they just say that. They don't even like finish.
Okay, so there's another one. It's giving. Huh? You guys have heard any of this? It's giving.
It's giving.
Thanksgiving?
So it's
No,
a
it
lot
is
of a lot of the same thing that you're talking about. So take my exact same. Someone's being creepy, and then one of the youngers would say it's giving pedo.
Vibes.
Yeah, like you don't finish it. It's just it's giving.
Okay. So
Gotcha.
Or you can just leave it and say it's giving.
that's odd. It's laziness.
It's been probably my most used one over the last 6 months.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah,
Never heard you say that.
it's giving. You're not listening.
I think the kids are getting lazier with their slang. Like when I was a kid, and hopefully this isn't going to be too old for you guys, but like a cigarillo, if you're going to, some people would say, give me a Rillo. And in my mind, you can make that jump. If I say, give me a Rillo and you're selling them, you probably go, he means cigarillo. And then like later it advanced to kids going, give me a gar. And when they said gar, I remember I stopped and I was like, hold on, I'm going to make you say the whole word. What is it you want? And they would get a gar, man, a gar. No, tell me the fucking word. And finally they'd say a cigar. And I'm like, oh, okay, I have 40 to choose from. Which cigar do you want?
Can you pull it a
But
big
then
ass
what's the one you
fish?
said, a stick?
Yeah, stick. You never had anyone ask you for a stick?
Nah, well, the cigarette wise, but not a cigar.
No, that's a stick.
Okay,
it's
man,
a little
yeah.
brown.
But again, I think that they're
cigarillos.
getting
They look like sticks.
they're getting lazier with it. They're just trying to say less percentage of the word, and that's not what it's about.
I mean, if you're in Tulsa, you better be careful. Like, give me a stick might be a number of things.
I'm going to argue the opposite.
Okay.
I feel like what they're using now involves more interpretation. We shorten words. It's giving or type shit that takes a little bit more thinking about to what are they talking about? Well, there's a deeper meaning. There's something more to it. They're almost speaking metaphorically. We just shorten cigarillo to Rillo. That's not super
And
inventive.
we make it to where someone who wanders in from out of town will be able to pick up and follow the conversation just using deductive reasoning. Whereas these kids today have their own language.
I can promise you, any at least middle school girl, if you said it's giving blank, they would 100% follow.
Probably.
And probably when I say middle school girl, that's because that's who lives with me.
Probably because they're following the same YouTube channel that's teenagers talking like that. Just my thought.
Nope.
Didn't we do the same shit though?
YouTube wasn't a thing when we were kids.
TV.
Like MTV was all we had. Like we
TV.
had all hope we were watching.
I was
MTV.
watching Boy Meets World. I don't know what you guys were doing.
Yeah, the WB.
Yeah, Topanga.
Dude, she was a problem. She was a real problem. I think gave me a little a taste of what I like now,
Makes sense. Checks out.
like the body style.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
that-
Going for
You guys remember your first like TV crush when you were young and
Yeah, Topanga.
Topanga?
Yeah,
Same
she's
for both
up
of
there.
y'all?
No, she's up there. I would get really, really abstract if I told you who my first.
Like, do you remember who it was?
I would have to look up the name of the TV show. It was
Okay.
a sitcom on Fox. I remember that, but it was not a long-lasting sitcom.
Gotcha.
My aunt might have been Christy Carlson Romano.
Who's that?
She was on Even Stevens.
Oh,
I see, I don't think I saw you.
Shia LaBeouf's sister.
Ren? Yeah,
Ren.
Ren.
Ren, yeah.
See, I think that
Liz-
might be an age thing where like I don't remember watching
Lizzie
Even
McGuire.
Stevens.
Lizzie McGuire was a
Hilary
thing.
Duff.
Hillary Duff.
She's the only one who's still sane. Of like that huge, like that era.
Yeah, Amanda Bynes.
No, I didn't really like her. Amanda Bynes?
I'm not saying
Oh, I
that
know
she was a
Amanda
crush.
Bynes.
I'm saying that like
Yeah.
she's an example of what you were saying.
Oh, she's normal?
No,
Not normal.
opposite.
Opposite.
Yeah, it's giving crazy.
It's
I'm going to
giving.
drop that a lot for the rest of the episode.
Thanks.
Yeah.
We'll get it in its giving count. It'll be right there. Oh, man. So, but you know, I was watching a short or a YouTube, whatever, short clip, a Facebook reel, whatever it is. And some guy was a middle school teacher. And he said, hey, I try to come up with slang that doesn't currently exist and pass it off as a thing. So I've been trying to do those things. He said, for example, if we're having a conversation, it gets kind of boring, much like this one. You can say, hey, this conversation's parked. Because there's nothing cool about a parked
I
car.
get it.
That makes sense.
I get
would
it.
follow immediately.
I get it.
Yeah.
Plus,
So-
in disc golf, if you throw your disc and it lands right underneath the basket, you say, "Oh, dude, you're parked. You're parked
Attention,
right under the
everybody.
basket." So,
Is that when you can just pick it up and touch the basket?
yeah. So week 5,
What's that
disc
called?
golf reference. What's that?
What's that called? When you just pick it up and are able to touch
That's a
the,
tap in. Technically, if you were playing like a tournament, you still have to like release the disc into the basket and let it come to rest. But if we're playing just us, like you would just kind of hit the chains and
Can you just like
I thought there was a word for it.
what's that?
I thought there was a word for it. No, other than tapping. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
tap. Yeah, that's
Okay.
all I can think of.
Cool. Disc golf.
Yeah, brought to you
I'd
by
say
disc golf.
that's our only chance of getting relevant at this point
Yeah.
is disc golf.
I do believe that's the only reason why our shorts are getting views. Is
So-
because I put disc golf on all of them.
I'm gonna throw this out there. I'm going to play supposedly Saturday morning. It's still up in the air with a buddy, but like I think the three of us need to go out there and play around and videotape as much as we can, and if anything good, splice it into this. But I think it'd be a fun episode to like review how you two did playing disc golf. Wouldn't be your first time. Would be your first time or not? Okay, you played. Yeah, it'd be a fun time.
Super sober every time.
It would be a blast, man.
I said I've never played disc golf.
You played it with me. Come on, you got this.
We talking park? The place of practice?
Oh, no, we'd probably go to Chandler Park.
No, that's that where you got when you said he's
Yeah,
played.
yeah, we
yes,
played Park Church
yes.
Alive. Yeah, Park Church of Christ, something like that. But yeah, we'd go over to Chandler Park probably or something like that for the first time.
Where's Chandler Park?
That is over on the west side of Tulsa.
West Side.
It's up by it's a beautiful. If you've never
It's
been
a
up
nice-
there,
I played
it's a
there.
beautiful park. They have a great playground area, but then they also have what do they call it?
It's giving pedo.
Yep.
So
Definitely giving. I immediately.
it's not rock climbing, but it's called bouldering. When
Yeah.
so they have like a whole beautiful area that you go down in where it's like you're walking through canyons, I guess, and people climb and really neat spot. But they have 2 good courses up there.
Do they have the pads and stuff there? Do
So
actually
no,
do
people
bouldering?
bring their own pads and so it's a good spot though. But backing up real quick because you guys didn't ask me, and I really want to talk about it.
Sure.
But because I'm 4 years and 6 years older than y'all,
Oh, okay.
Right.
That-
Who's
you-
your crush? Oh, sorry, Andy. Who was your crush?
dude. So I look at this now and I think it was a sign of a problem, like a foretelling of my future. But they were both MILFs.
Okay.
Hold on, any guesses? MILFs of my generation on
Oh,
TV.
Yes,
douche.
Kate Segal from Married with Children.
Dude, Peggy Bundy. Peggy Bundy was, which later I talked to buddies about that, and apparently like all of us had
of
a
us,
Peggy
yeah.
Bundy.
It's not
thing,
a.
yeah.
It's a thing.
But there's like Christina Applegate was on the show, and rough,
Supposed to be the
Peggy.
attention grabber.
Yeah, but the other one's even more obscure. This was. I'm not proud to say this.
Was it the mom from Home Improvement?
No,
Weirdly, that's where I first
that what
went.
you thought too?
That's where I
Yeah.
first went.
she was
Jill.
good.
Jill.
Jill
yes.
Taylor. Yeah. No, the
Jonathan Taylor Thomas. That's who it was.
Fran Drescher. You guys ever see The Nanny?
No, I have zero problem with. I have less problem with Fran Drescher than I do the other.
Dude,
she
Is
was
that the
pretty
one with the
hot.
voice?
Yeah, the voice is
She
terrible,
was
but
pretty hot.
she wore the mini skirts.
Yeah,
and-
it was how she carried herself. It
Yeah.
wasn't. It was not so much that it was the vibe.
Yeah, Fran Drescher and Peggy Bundy. Anyhow, yeah, I wanted to back up to that because
I'm sorry.
you
we didn't
guys were
ask
both
you.
naming like girls closer to your age as your first TV crushes, and I'm like, oh, I'm weird then because mine were definitely MILFs.
Elvira.
Okay,
If we're
Elvira,
going-
yeah,
That was like cut down to here.
yeah,
How could you not?
clearly.
Cassandra
Kyle's
Peterson.
speechless.
Well, it's an older thing. I was like, what was my first MILF crush? I was thinking of trying to think of that, but I know I had one earlier than this. I could just think of. You guys ever watch Weeds?
Yeah, oh, dude, what is her name? Mary Louise something?
Dreyfus?
No, Mary Louise
She
Parker.
wasn't on that.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Mary Louise Parker, something like that.
that's right.
She's adorable. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
I thought you were gonna say from American Pie.
oh, Stifler's mom.
Stifler's mom.
Nah.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah, it's not now. Topanga.
Topanga. Yes. Sorry we didn't ask you, Andy. I feel kind
No, that's all right.
I don't feel bad about
I was sitting here
What about-
the whole topic after that? I was sitting here going, "Do I want to say this,
Yes,
Fran
you
and Peggy
Yeah, you
Bundy?"
do. You
But
do.
I kind of wanted to let it be known. So
Yeah.
Anyhow,
Do you think a show like sorry, Kyle? Do you think a show like Married with Children could exist now?
yeah. I mean,
Sure.
yes,
Do you know how sexist that show was?
that was what was hysterical.
that's-
The whole Al Bundy, like a fat woman came into the shoe store today.
Yeah,
she
I
said
mean-
she wanted something she could feel comfortable in. I suggested Wyoming, or whatever it was. Yeah, like
That was great. If you just made that up, that was wonderful.
that. I think that was one of his jokes.
Okay,
for sure,
that was great. Did you guys have any cartoon crushes?
Jessica Rabbit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not even human.
Jessica Rabbit
Jessica
was
Rabbit
a
was
she was a cartoon
yes.
of a human.
Okay, but
yeah.
yes. Okay, I get it though.
Trying to think
Kim
here.
Possible.
I'm too old for that.
Too
I
old
think.
for that.
Yeah.
I don't think I had any cartoon crushes.
I thought that was a normal thing.
It is. There's a whole genre on the Corn Hub that has it. So
Yeah, that's
surely
true.
it
Did
is.
you say
That's
Corn Hub?
Yeah,
Yeah.
YouTube
Trying
doesn't.
to-
YouTube doesn't like the
Doesn't
the
like
P.
that
Got
word.
it. Got it.
Yeah.
That's what all my friends in Texas cannot access that, and every time I go down there, they'll like mention. And I guess, yeah, so yeah,
Wait, what?
there's certain states that you cannot. It's just no, you can't.
So the law passed that you can access it, but you have to sign up for an account, age verification with photo.
and you have to scan
Proof.
in your driver's license. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm not scanning. my
There ain't
driver's
no
license into
damn
it.
way.
Yeah, no.
There's not a chance.
So the only way that if you're in the state of Texas, and I guess there's a couple other ones that you can view a site like that, is the ones that you have to like pay for, like that you actually sign. Like there is no
I
free
saw an
tube sites.
I saw an article on that. I'm like, no way.
Yeah. No, it's funny. Like the last time I went to Texas, I was like, oh, I just want to see what'll happen. And I tried to go on my phone and it popped up a screen that was like, dear valued customer, we're sorry, but blah, 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 blah. And like, just, yeah, this is, and they, the company was blaming it on the state of Texas and their draconian laws.
Did you notice how he said "dear valued customer"? Like
That-
he's returned user. Like he's
Yeah.
probably
I remember it was very
subscription
formal like that.
You're in the top 3%
telling
of our
you.
users. Don't give up on us.
If you go there and try to do it on your phone, the phone knows you're in the state of Texas, won't let
Yeah.
you do it. And yeah, that was how it popped up. Is it was like, dear valued customer. It was very comical because it was more customer service than I expected to see on that.
Can you imagine if you're using like a VPN and the VPN lands you in Texas?
So two of my buddies have VPNs that they bought specifically because of this band, and I was like, oh wow, like okay.
Is Scooby one of them?
Who's that?
Scooby?
I don't have a friend named Scooby. I got Shag.
Shag, same thing.
Yeah, no, I think
you know
Shag-
who I was talking about.
Shag is a no on that. I'll bet.
Oh, could a show like Married with
Married with
Children
Children
exist
exists.
now?
Oh yeah.
And I was like, man, I kind of jumped that subject. Yeah, it could.
You got to think because Married with Children was like the evolution of Archie Bunker,
Right.
Because
Yeah.
Archie Bunker was the not politically correct, and he did a good job where he played the non-PC guy, but he kind of showed the stupidity of some of his old school arguments. And then Al Bundy came along, and Al Bundy was kind of the Archie Bunker of the '80s. Have we had a character like that on network TV?
I was going to say network TV is the key.
no. I don't think we have.
So cable TV without even accessing the premium channels, yes.
Okay, I'm trying to think. Give me a.
I mean, one of my top, probably my second favorite show of all time, still is, and I'm waiting for the next season, is It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Okay, Sunny, and that, yeah.
And there's no way you can tell me that does not cross way further boundaries than there was a fat woman coming into a shoe store.
It does, yeah.
Okay.
Sunny.
They literally dropped the
Sunny and
N-bomb in the
Curb Your-
first one.
I'm thinking Sunny and Curb Your Enthusiasm, but I was trying to think of that same model of like a family show where the dad's a little blum, whatever. I don't think we've had that, but we have had shows where people are just. I love Sunny in Philadelphia and Curb Your Enthusiasm because they'll be like, oh, like we're not supposed to talk about whatever. Let's do an episode on that, and they'll just devote a
Park.
whole episode to. No, we're going to talk about this. That's fantastic.
South Park, Family Guy, American Dad.
South Park. Okay.
Now, South Park's
Yeah.
just great. Family Guy, yeah, they touch on subjects just in random cutaways. It's fine. It's fine. It's entertainment. South Park is incredibly well written, and I will die on this hill.
I talk to people all the time that are our age that will say like, oh, I don't watch cartoons like that. And it's like, I don't want to try to sell them on it, but at the same time, it's like, it's a very well written, like there's hidden genius
Topical,
in that show.
very topical.
And my favorite thing about it is if you ever start to watch an episode and it's a issue that you're like, oh, they're doing it about this. If the first 5 minutes you think, oh, good, they're on my side, I got news for you. Like, at the end of this, you're going to feel
coming.
dumb.
It's coming.
But yeah, they do a good job of pointing out the stupidity on every side, though, which is fantastic.
I'll never forget the the first Obama election when he won.
Was it the one where him and McCain are like jewel thieves and with Michelle?
Yeah. But they released that episode, I think 3 days after the election or something like that. And it was so
Dude.
well done. And I'm like, they had to wait because it wasn't an easy win. It wasn't like straight in. They didn't know. They probably had most of it written and most of it done. But at the same time,
The year that Trump won, like they were so spot on for it was like 15 episodes in a row.
so
And like
good.
something would happen over the weekend and the new episode would come out on Wednesday and like boom, like where you was just like how? Like how did they manage to take this little thing that happened over the weekend and turn it in? And it worked out. So I saw an interview with them where they were basically saying they were just going by the seat of their pants. Like
Yeah.
they didn't have a plan for where that season was headed, and it just worked out and like was a great story throughout the whole season. But like it was amazing how they'd see something happen, write the show, animate it, and get it on the air in 3 days. So,
She's paper cuts.
whatever they're doing,
I've argued that is the best written show of all time.
yeah, I would give it to that.
Didn't you say you went and saw a play?
Dude, I went and saw the Book of Mormon.
The Book of
and
Mormon.
I'm gonna look into I'm hoping the cameras are still on. The Book of Mormon was the funniest. I'm an anti-Broadway guy, and my boss actually had mentioned that they were gonna go see it, and I'd heard about it, and I talked to my wife, and he bought us tickets to go down to Bass Hall in Fort Worth, front row. Like it was one of those where I would have never sat in this good a seat. But the Book of Mormon was the funniest thing I've seen in my entire life. I laughed to the point of tears for 2 hours straight. And what's funny is it takes some shots at all religions, but especially the Mormon religion. But we're in Fort Worth, and like walking in, there's people that are in like suits and cowboy hats. It was very conservative looking audience.
Crowd, yeah.
And I remember like when they started saying some of the stuff they were saying just about God or religion, I started kind of looking around because I was like, I'll bet people are leaving. Like there's probably people that came here and didn't know what they signed up for. No, these old white conservative people were slapping their knees, just laughing their asses off. It was
Those are probably good people.
go
gotta-
see it if you
gotta
get
be
the
able to
opportunity.
Take a
See the Book of Mormon.
I still haven't seen it. I tried to illegally download like bootleg copies and everything too
so
because
good.
I've wanted to see it for a long time.
Yeah.
I did not though because that is wrong.
Because you used Napster.
It was a little after Napster because I promise it would have been on there.
Yeah.
Just never know what you're going to open when you open those files. My gosh.
Yeah. Plus, I never saw Hamilton on Broadway, but Hamilton, when it got released, I think it was on the Disney streaming app. Like, I was very excited because I'd heard how great Hamilton was. But watching it at home like that, I don't think I got the full experience of what I would have gotten.
I'd say that twice.
I almost say don't, like, for the Book of Mormon, for example, don't put it on DVD. Don't put it on streaming. Like, go see it.
They've been very protective about it. And
Yeah.
because it's been out 10 years at least.
And they're geniuses. What are they? Trey Parker and Matt Stone? Geniuses. So, and even Team America World Police. I mean,
I still quote that and nobody understands.
I go back and
to
watch
this
that
day.
like once a year just for the fun of it, and it's still hysterical.
America.
Dude,
Fuck yeah.
That's real quick. I'm sure you guys have movies that you can't wait to watch with your kids. That like it's an R-rated or it's a little dirty, and it's not the time yet. But one day you're gonna sit down and watch that movie with them. For me, Team America is one of those. Where it's
That's
like,
a great point. I hadn't
can't
thought
wait.
of that. Might have to chew on
There's,
that for a
there's
second.
the scene with I'll just say the sex scene. Like there's certain parts where we're never going to be ready to watch that with our daughters. Like I don't think. But if we fast forward strategically, like
There's an age.
There is an age.
Yeah.
There's an age. I don't know what that is yet.
I still have moments where like if I'm watching someone with I'll be in the same room as my mom and a sex scene will come on and I'm weirded out about it. Like, I don't want to look over and make eye contact with her.
Yeah.
Cool. I gotta fix the camera.
You got to fix it? Did it move?
We're gonna be right back after this commercial from Dude Wipes.
And we're back.
We're back.
All right. Hey, real quick. On the last episode, I was talking about my first experience having Johnny Walker Blue Label, and I mentioned that my buddy pulled it out of the freezer, and Kyle took offense to that, notably.
Yep.
I think you called it sacrilege
He said
Yeah,
sacrilege.
I did.
multiple times. So it was kind of bothering me, and I was like, I wonder if if he really did pull it out of the freezer, or am I misremembering? But I could picture him pulling it out of the freezer. Thankfully, I got a text from Marty about this, and he wanted me to read the entirety of this text to you. Okay, go ahead.
No. Viewer thoughts with that GD podcast.
Okay, so
Welcome to Viewer Thoughts with that GD podcast.
Marty's a guy that appreciates his everything. He's into wines and liquor, so he said, yes, it was in the freezer. No real reason to ever put whiskey or bourbon in a freezer. The cold changes the viscosity and flavor from its original room temp form, of confirming what Kyle said. Though it by no means ruins the homogeneous mixture being chilled 20 minutes before you showed up. So, if you have friends coming over and you know they don't drink whiskey or bourbon neat, but you want them to make an attempt to enjoy while it's not watered down, which also changes the flavor profile and PT notes, why not attempt to eliminate a bit of the back tongue and throat burn by chilling it? Case in point, you enjoyed it and potentially opened your mind to going out and trying more spirits. So he did agree with you that it shouldn't go in the freezer, but he claims he put it in the freezer just before our arrival to give it a flash chill.
So
Does that make you feel any better about it, Kyle?
No.
So what you're saying is, one,
Okay.
if I put it in the freezer before, it will help take some of the burn out of the throat.
Yeah, it's chilled. Yeah. That's why I don't like drinks neat. I respect Kyle for doing that.
Yeah.
But
Okay. And then two, Marty, question for you, since now I know you watch podcasts. Do I need the pinky out? Does that enhance the viscosity and the PT notes?
he went on real quick to say that if I was going to try to get someone into drinking wine, I wouldn't start them off with a Malbec from a high altitude Mendoza or a Nebbiolo grape like Barolo. I would start with a chilled Sauv Blanc or an easy red fruit bomb right out of the cooled wine fridge.
Oh, yes.
Okay,
yes.
so I will somewhat argue that.
Okay.
That last part. Everything else he said was fine. That's like saying if I wanted to get them into whiskey, I would maybe start them off with a really smooth vodka.
Okay.
That's what it sounded like to me.
Yeah.
So now, if you were going to say I wanted to introduce them to Malbecs, so I wanted to start them off with this kind of Malbec, and maybe it was colder than it probably should be. That would make sense to me. But to say I'm going to start them off with Sauvignon Blanc, that's like I'm going to start them off with something completely fucking different, 100% different.
I hear you. So We just wanted to clear that up. It
Yeah.
did come out of the freezer, but it seems like he knew what he was doing and strategically used the freezer to get it to a good temperature for us to try it.
You'll like Balvenie 25, but let's start with a little Tito's.
I love Tito's.
So Marty, speaking directly to you, next time just put that in the comments on YouTube after you've
Please.
subscribed. And,
Yeah, and then don't forget to like.
Well, thanks for staying to the end. If you did, sorry that camera crapped out on us again. Andy's going to buy a battery or something. We'll put an air conditioner on it. I don't really know.
Gonna bring a GoPro next time.
Sorry for the cuts that are absolutely going to happen in this, but there's
Yeah.
some good stuff.
I still can't believe you've done all those drugs, Justin.
Yeah, you know.
Don't forget to smash that like button.
Like and subscribe and play disc golf.
Disc golf. Until next time, we'll see you next week.
If you don't like this podcast, brother, listen here,
right
brother.
at this
Next Sunday night, if you don't like and subscribe that new podcast, I'm coming for you.